It's time to talk about possible ban list implications. Of course, I want to make this more of a discussion like I usually do because it's just impossible to predict the ban list. But there are a few things I think need to be hit. I think there's a couple things that need to be cleaned up in the format. But outside of that, it's actually a pretty good format. Let's dive on into it, shall we? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it is your host with the most, Avery LR32 here, and destroy the ever-living Boo-Boo Brown stain off of that like and subscribe button as we climb even higher, the 1,500 ladder. We're only like 20 subs away from 1,500 as I pull up some extra light here on this beautiful face of mine. There we go. That's a little bit better. I kind of look like I'm very white on one side of my face. But anyways, this should work, at least for the most part. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Figured it would be good to make a ban list discussion video because I can also tie in why I haven't been making a whole lot of videos talking about this format. And that boils down to, one, play testing, where I'm testing a lot of different things. My last regional for this, I guess, quote-unquote ban list season is March 22nd, and then I'll really be able to focus on just making content. Like, I still need to put together the toss format retrospective video. I have it recorded. I just need to put it together, right? And so through all the testing that I've done, plus I've also been busy with my part-time job, which is just absolute dog water. Don't work in the pharmaceutical world. It's liquid. In my past 1 minute, it's liquid ass with big old chunks inside. Ugh. So besides the point, I still want to talk about this, but I haven't been making a lot of videos because of the fact I do think that this format overall is a really good format. Like, yes, there are issues in any format. There are issues in GOAT format. People love GOAT format. There's issues with Edison. People love Edison. Issues with toss. You see my point, right? But I do think that there's a couple things that need to be cleaned up, especially moving into post-Supreme Darkness, where we're going to have Alliance Insight, and then after Alliance Insight, our next core set is Duelist Advance, which will probably not be till like October, maybe November or December. Our next side set is Justice Hunters, and Rizal is also getting more support in Duelist Alliance in the form of Star Rizal. Malice is getting more support with the March Hare or whatever the card is. So these two decks that are the best decks in the room are still going to be getting more support. And I'm sure some people are going to say, well, Avery, Blue Eyes is one of the best decks in the game too. Sure, you play with your 5 to 6 bricks, go ahead and go sit in the corner. And then we're also getting Orchest, right? And so I think that there are some things that need to be pulled back to not necessarily make way for new decks, although I'm sure that's what Konami is going to do because that's what they always do with the ban list. But there are things that I think have kind of been oversights in the format and the ban list that we got going into this format that need to be adjusted. So, of course, first things first, we need to copy the fucking OCG and put Engraver and Tract to 1. No pictures in this video because this is kind of more of a discussion. So if you're expecting, ooh, picture here, pay attention. No, you're going to be listening to my sexy voice. So Engraver and Tract need to go to 1, but then I also think that that means that the Lacrima fusion could come back to 1. You know, in the OCG, they've got Tract and Engraver at 1 and Lacrima at 3. Obviously not the effect monster Lacrima. I'm talking about the fusion monster Lacrima. And they're fine. So I think bringing the Lacrima fusion back to 1 would be nice. That way Fiendsmith is technically quote-unquote full power. They have all their stuff back, so you can maybe play it as more like a pure deck. Maybe Kashtira Fiendsmith is still a thing. But I do think, above all, now I'm sure this is going to sound weird to some people, Chaos Angel needs to be banned. Now you're probably wondering, Avery, why in God's name do you want to ban Chaos Angel? The amount of times I have seen on YouTube and duels and have actually played IRL, the amount of Chaos Angel staring contest I've fucking seen is ridiculous. If you don't know what I mean, I'm talking about a situation where either you or your opponent, whoever makes it first, someone makes a light and dark Chaos Angel, banishes a card on the field, places it in defense, and smiles at you. Then the other player makes a light and dark Chaos Angel, and both of you are crapping all over the venue floor because neither of you have an out to it. So you're just sitting there. You're staring at each other. Now, I'm sure some people are going to say, well, Avery, if you play Agamunde or Agnumde, however the hell you pronounce that thing, with Disarray, then you can do Piercing, and it's got like 5,800 attack. You can start punching into Chaos Angel. Sure, that's kind of an out, but if you were like me at YCS Orlando, where I just cut Agamunde from my list entirely, which one of my opponents scooped when I had a sequence and Disarray up, and he scooped, and I think it was because he thought I was on Agamunde, and I wasn't going to beat him, so... Yeah, that was great. So, but Agamunde does help you OTK, right? And it gives you Piercing with Disarray and whatever. you could argue that that's an out, right? But if you're not playing Fiendsmith cards, which I don't know why, maybe you're on Blue Eyes or something budget, whatever the fuck. If you're not playing the Fiendsmith cards, then you don't really have a built-in out per se to the Chaos Angel, even though that doesn't even really out the Chaos Angel, but yet it's 5800 attack. So either way, you're going to be doing damage, whether it's an attack or defense, because of the piercing. So if you build your deck in such a way where you don't have, say, talents to take the Chaos Angel, assuming that the opponent activates a monster effect, if they even do, then you're screwed that entire game. Even if you can make your own Chaos Angel, again, you can't banish the opponent's Chaos Angel because it's light and dark, so their synchro monsters are unaffected by monster effects, and then none of their monsters can be killed in battle. So basically, it just becomes a staring contest. And so I don't think that that's healthy, because especially if you're getting close to time, you can just make a Chaos Angel in defense, light and dark material, and sit on it, and if the opponent doesn't have an out, whether it's Metaltronus, Ultimate Slayer, like for their own Chaos Angel, they can dump the Chaos Angel and then bounce it, right? If they don't have something like that and you're getting close to time, well, then you kind of just win in time because you basically have a crooked cook on the field, which is just, I think it's really degenerate. It doesn't make for good Yu-Gi-Oh gameplay. So I think it's time to ban Chaos Angel, especially because of the fact that you can just use any light or dark monster and treat it as a tuner. Like, that's really fucking good. It's kind of like that Visas Armatara or Armatarara card, the Synchro monster that, like, it doesn't even need a tuner. It searches you the Manadium reframing counter trap that's basically an Infernity barrier that all the Manadium decks were playing for 5 minutes, and then everyone realized the deck was dog shit because hand traps are a thing. So, yeah, I think Chaos Angel needs to go. Of course, Bonfire and X, I think, need to go to 1. I think we need to copy the OCG in that regard, because Rizal's still a good deck, even with Bonfire and X Rizal at 1. Keep in mind that they do have 7th Tachyon, which we are getting March 14th. That's going to be crazy to get since my regional is on the 22nd. Please pray for me. And so I think if we follow the hits of the OCG, and that's why I think we're not getting a list until April, because I think we could very well see 7th Tachyon go to 1. Or if they want to copy the OCG and put it to 2, great. But I could easily see them also reprinting 7th Ascension in Maze the Master and putting that shit to 1, because in the OCG, all they did was put 7th Tachyon to 2, which is the most OCG hit ever, and they left 7th Ascension at 3. Cool, you went from 6 copies of 7th Tachyon down to 5. Now, obviously, you get hit by Droll and Lockbird harder, which is going to be crazy. It's crazy now, but it's going to be even crazier once we get Maze the Master, because 7th Tachyon doing all your searches and shit. You go 7th Ascension to search the Tachyon, the opponent drolls you, and then you just crap all over the venue floor again after you just got into the Chaos Angel steering contest, because now you can't search with your 7th Tachyon. So I don't think that 7th Ascension is going to take off here in the TCG like it has in the OCG. And that's, again, also, if you didn't see my Blue Eyes video, I was talking about with Blue Eyes why it's not as good here, because buy steals are all at 1 in the OCG, which is, to my next point, I think we need to copy the OCG in that regard. You know, they've got Bysteel Magnema at 1, which we do have here, but then they also have Druisworm and Baldrake at 1. Now, Soroiner is still at 3, but they also have Bysteel Lubellion at 1. And I think that we're going to need to go the route of putting them all to 1. Druisworm, Baldrake, Soroiner, and Bysteel Lubellion at 1. Just because of the fact I think Bysteals are just out of fucking control at this point. You can make the argument that they're sort of a metagame call, because if the Shark Rizal deck takes off here in the TCG, like I think it will, then Bysteals aren't going to be as good. You can still Bysteel the Ice and the X Rizal and all that good stuff. But Fiendsmith's going to probably fall off a cliff because Droll Lockbird's going to be such a strong, prevalent card, so there's not really going to be as much of a need to play Bysteals. You know, maybe at 2 or 3 copies, like 1 Druisworm, 1 Magma, 1 Baldrake, 2 Druisworm, whatever the case may be. But I don't think we're going to be seeing them as high of numbers. But if we still do, I think they're really going to need a hit, especially because of the fact that Chaos Angel's in the format. So any Bysteel plus a level 4 light gives you a very easy light and dark Chaos Angel that even Rizal can easily make. You drop out, say, a Magnemite. At the end of the turn, search the Druisworm. Maybe you've got a level 4 X or Ice in hand. You summon it. You don't even need to use its effect, and you just make a light and dark Chaos Angel, and you have basically a Crooked Cook 2.0 on the field that's just indestructible. And so we got to do something about Bysteals. I think we really need to take them out back and shoot them down. If there's any hand traps that need to be hit, even though I think hand traps, would like to see them hit in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, Shifter still needs to be banned. I don't think I need to repeat that for the 1 millionth time. If we can only pick one set of hand traps to be hit, I think it needs to be the buy steals because they're just out of control at this point. It's something I feel like you always have to plan for when playing like a lighter dark deck. And if Konami wants to push Blue Eyes, they can absolutely hit the buy steals. That's also why Orcus is pretty good there in their format because their buy steals have been hit. They've been limited. So buy steals aren't as prevalent against what was the two best decks at the time before Duelist Alliance in Blue Eyes and Orcus. But overall, outside of, I mean, those things and obvious things like Shifter needing to be banned, I would like to maybe see Allure of Darkness go to 1 to hit Malice. I don't really think that's going to happen. I think that Malice, honestly, outside of maybe a Gold Sark or an Allure hit, I don't see them getting hit. I don't think Crossout Designator is going to get hit. I don't think Talents is going to get hit, even though I'm starting to think Talents and or Thrust need to be hit. Call by being banned, I think, is too much of a stretch. And so I'm fine with this format. I'm sure some people are going to say like ban Detonator because it's like Dryden 2.0, but I feel like if you ban Detonator, then the whole deck just falls apart. It could go to 1. That's a possibility. But I'm fine with this format. It's not bad. That's why I've been making a lot of videos. There's nothing to fucking talk about. And it's not like I'm making money hand over fist on this channel. I'm making pennies on the dollar. I do this more as like a side hustle. I don't want to talk about a market watch. Like what? Okay, Lordly Loads, pause, are now 75 instead of 90. There's your market watch. Like, you see my point? There's nothing to talk about. I'm not going to make a fucking tier list video talking about board breakers when board breakers are just kind of ass cheeks right now. Like, why are you playing board breakers when you can just like play Mulch Armies? Like, I don't know, man. There's room for it. Like, you could play a Going Second Rise all deck with board breakers, but I'm just not interested in talking about that right now. I'm overall enjoying the format. I'm very tired of playing Rise all. I really want to play something different. But, you know, I need my invite, so I kind of have to play the best deck. But after this March 22nd regional, I will finally be free of this deck. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.